say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family and explorers of consciousness. I am the void.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
All broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void live. It's Thursday night, March the 20th. And thank you for your patience. I appreciate that. Jumping in kind of late here at the end of the week doing the live broadcast, but man, there's so much to talk about. I'm freaking overwhelmed with stuff to talk about. And I'm going to kind of do this a little different tonight because I feel like we need to make sure we get all the facts in. There's two things that I want to talk about. Two heavy subjects that I really want to talk about. One is the JFK files, and the other one is this thing about the Egyptian pyramids that I have no idea. Like, I just figured this out today. That's how crazy my life has been. And I looked into, what's up, Christy? I looked into this whole new radar thing, and I'm flabbergasted. I really feel like this could be, you know how we were talking about before, that this could be the big year and the big moment of truth for a lot of different things. It feels like that's happening, you know? It really does. I mean, right now, what if this is the big question on everybody's mind at the moment? This is like, what if everything we thought we knew, which I don't think we know too much, but what if everything that we thought we knew about the pyramids was really just the tip of the iceberg? Now, we've been hinting about this stuff for a long time, but it's only based on intuition and based on other researchers. So on this broadcast a few years back, we had people like John Anthony West come on. I haven't had too many people come on to What's Up Wolf to talk about the pyramids, or I don't get into ancient history too much because the facts are just not all in, but I like to hear people talk about it. It's like, I love to hear people talk about it, especially the metaphysical and spiritual implications or any astrological implications to this stuff. But with these new discoveries, and I don't know how legit this is. Like, I like to be able to research stuff, or at least half-ass know what I'm talking about. But there's always been a long-standing mystery with the pyramids and the whole Egyptian, the plateau, everything out there. It's always been a mystery to a lot of people. And these recent technological breakthroughs apparently have revealed hidden structures beneath them. Now, traditional views say that pyramids are tombs for pharaohs, like Khufu, Khafre, all the pyramids. In I think 2017, there was that big void that they found in the Great Pyramid. But it's getting a little bit more detailed. Technology is kind of getting a little better. So these new discoveries under the pyramids are using this advanced imaging called SAR. I guess it's muography. So what are these structures and how do they change our understanding of ancient Egypt? That's the big question. Like, what are these things? Because when I look at them, they look like staircases to it, like a dungeon or something. But then they go into the ground 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers into that's deep. I mean, how did we miss this? I've got friends that go to Egypt every year. They go out there and it's crazy to think that we just found this stuff. Even if it was a year ago, even if they're working on this stuff, it's just crazy. Like, how are we missing this stuff? Okay. This is called, I think, isn't it called synthetic aperture radar? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do kind of like what the streamers do, and hopefully I'm allowed to do this, but there are other people that have better, I guess, better information on the new discoveries, right? But from what my understanding is from Bondi's, and I'm probably this Filippo Bondi's work that he posted in 2025, that he revealed, like, this year is what I mean to say. He revealed these intricate subterranean structures under the Khafre pyramid, extending 2 kilometers beneath the plateau. 5 identical structures near the base, connected by geometric pathways, 8 vertical cylindrical wells up to 648 meters deep, and 2 massive cube-shaped chambers, 80 meters per side. So I might butcher this, okay, but from my understanding, it uses these things called, I'm gonna have to get some readers. I tried it. I gotta get some readers, man. I got to. It uses micro movements from seismic waves to see inside solid objects. So what we're basing all of this newfound discovery on this technology and how accurate it is. So we have to remember that, okay? I'm not trying to be a skeptic or anything like that. I'm just saying this is what this is the only way we can see this right now, until I guess they get, well, I don't know, maybe some kind of backing to dig or go check it out. But it uses micro movements from seismic waves to see inside solid objects, making the pyramid transparent. So I'm flabbergasted at this. If this is real, these cylinder, I know you guys have seen pictures of it, and I'm going to play this video, and I'm pretty sure I can play clips from it, but these are cylindrical wells, they're saying. They're 648 meters deep, spiraling downward, possible water channels, ventilation, or perhaps for ritual purposes. We don't know what they're for. You remember when Robert Schoch, I don't know if any of you guys remember this, Robert Schoch came on this show a long time ago. Long time ago. I think it was like 2018, 2019 maybe. And he had, like, I tried to talk to him about the Sphinx, and I think I did a little bit, the water weathering and how old this place really was. But he was more interested in his book, which was fascinating, by the way, his book that talked about how he believed that this whole place got wiped out by the sun. Okay. Dude's super smart. So I was in that interview. If you want to go back and listen to it, I was pretty intimidated talking to that guy. I mean, he's a really well-established archaeologist, and I was very lucky to have him on the show. Of course, John Anthony West had been on the show once or twice and had talked about how he believes there's greater mysteries to this. And now that this is just now came out, if this is real, and I think it is. So there's these cylindrical wells, the cubic chambers, which are two 80-meter cubes, or I guess they could be storage spaces, like ceremony spaces, or they could be something else. This could be like a technology, you know, how we always hint towards, well, you know, the ancient Egyptians possibly knew or had technology that we didn't have. Lots of people believe that, including the people that I just named before. We could discover something like that, you know. I mean, this suggests an intentional, a bigger intentional design too of the place, right? Like that connects all three pyramids, you know, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. So 2 kilometers subterranean, that's deep, man. That can't be just a tomb, man. I don't, like, it can't be. In my opinion, like, I'm trying to think of the mind of someone that would make something like this. Would you make something this massive and make it as, well, it's just a tomb? I don't think so, man. I really don't. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to play this video and see if I can, let me pull it up here. Because this guy does a way better, he talks about it better than I can tonight. But maybe we can try to figure this out. And, you know, what are you saying? We all knew there was something under there. Well, yeah, I mean, here's what really bothers me about this whole thing. One of the videos, and I don't know if it's this one, but in one of the videos, a guy brings up the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, right? So he brings up these tablets. And I have an issue. I don't have an issue with the tablets. I think it's a great text. It's like it's a downloaded text from a guy named Doriel. He wrote it in the 1900s. All spiritual texts are like downloaded materials. So I don't have any problem with that. The problem I have with it is that they're using the Emerald Tablets of Thoth like this New Age Bible almost, without any reference to when it was actually written. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, I'm not trying to knock the guy, but what's his name? Billy, I can't think of his last name. I'm getting old, man. That guy, he's a cool dude. He has a lot of great information, but he kind of, for a while, mixed the Emerald Tablet, the original Emerald Tablet, and the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and kind of made it seem like they were the same thing and milked that thing to death. But they're not the same thing. I'm not taking away from it. So I don't want to add anything like mystical to this until it's time. And if it is, that's going to be awesome. So here's this video. Let's see if we can listen to what this guy's saying about it. He just does, it's just better. It's good content, if you ask me. And then maybe we'll get a little bit simpler understanding of it here.
Press conference to share their findings. By using an advanced, non-invasive scanning method called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography, that was a bit of a mouthful, researchers have mapped the pyramid's interior and the ground beneath it in extraordinary detail. This technology works by detecting tiny movements from natural seismic activity, allowing for the creation of high-resolution, full 3D tomographic scans of the pyramid's interior and subsurface structures. And what they've uncovered, well, it rewrites history. It's based on a paper from 2022, where Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi, a radar and remote sensing specialist at the University of Strathclyde, published a peer-reviewed study through MDPI, titled Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography, I'm not going to say that again, reveals details of undiscovered high-resolution internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their research unveils hidden underground structures that would otherwise remain invisible to conventional conventional archaeological tools, leading to the discovery of never-before-seen internal features within the Great Pyramid. And here's what's just been announced. By analysing multiple tomographic SAR images from various perspectives, researchers constructed a 3D model of both the internal chambers of the Khafre pyramid and what lies deep beneath the plateau itself. Near the base of the pyramid, they identified a previously undocumented chamber containing 5 identical structures, interconnected by precisely laid out geometric pathways. Within each structure are 5 horizontal levels topped with a slanted ceiling, an architectural style that has never before been documented at Giza or anywhere else to my knowledge. But the most shocking discovery lies underground. Beneath the pyramid, enormous formations extend downward from its base, plunging deep into the bedrock. Radar scans have detected vertical cylindrical shafts running hundreds of meters beneath the pyramid.
Look at that. That is crazy. So they took these radar images all the way around it, and this is kind of like their 3D mapping of what this thing is under the pyramid. And I don't know, this makes me think of like, doesn't it, I'm going to go on a whim here, but doesn't it look like that this is like this would have came from a time where there could have been flooding or something, or maybe the ground was lower? I don't know why I'm thinking of that, but like maybe there was a waterway or something, and this is holding it up. Either that or those are spiraling staircases down to something that could be deeper. I don't know.
There are 8 of these massive wells, for want of a better term, arranged in 2 parallel rows, reaching an incredible depth of 648 meters. At the bottom of these structures are 2 gigantic cube-like formations, each measuring about 80 meters across. The radar data suggests that these shafts contain complex spiral pathways, hinting at a purpose far beyond what conventional Egyptology has ever considered. Now, there's no clue yet what these could be, but maybe these spiraling shafts are ancient stairways. I'm speculating here, but could this connect to the long-rumoured Hall of Records? For centuries, stories have hinted at a hidden repository of lost knowledge beneath Giza. Robert Schoch thinks it's beneath the Sphinx, but is this it? Or is it something else? Is it something to do with power generation, as has been proposed before? Either way, the implications of this discovery completely dismantles the accepted historical timeline of ancient Egypt and of human civilization as a whole. The level of engineering required to create such deep and extensive subterranean structures simply does not align with what we've been taught about the civilization responsible for the pyramids. Now,
this guy's name is Michael Button, by the way, Button. I would go subscribe to him right now, because the presentations that he's doing this is making it really easy for me to understand, because I looked at the papers and stuff too, and they get into the math of the radar, but look at the images of that plus the 2 cubes below it. In my mind, I can't think of, like, structurally, architectural. I'm not an architect, but I don't know what this is. What do you think it is?
What we've been taught about the civilization responsible for the pyramids. Now, the Great Pyramids were already an anomaly in the traditional Egyptian narrative. Anyone with anything even resembling an open mind could see the facts of 2.3 million limestone blocks per pyramid, weighing up to 80 tons each, transported hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, built so precisely it beggars belief, and all done with primitive tools and inside a tiny time frame. It simply doesn't make sense. But this makes it impossible to argue that the society we know from history built these structures. And it doesn't stop
so
there.
What are those guys going to say? Like Zahi Hawass and all those guys that were giving Jaws a hard time back in the day? I mean, this is a big deal. I'm not for us, right? Like, not for, I mean, conscious explorers, maybe some of you, but this is a big deal in the world of like academia. Do you guys remember the fight that Jaws and John Anthony West and a few other people that were putting up, trying to tell people like there's technologies here we don't understand. This stuff goes back even further. I know Jaws was into Schwaller's work. It was more of a spiritual thing based on the symbolism of the temples and stuff, like, magical Egypt. It was great. It was great. But what are those guys going to say now? That's what I want to see. I wish I would have had time to look that up and just see what the the modern like Egyptian academia people are saying about this. Because if they can legitimize this radar, which I'm pretty sure they have, I still got to go through the papers. This is going to blow everything out of the water. Everything. I think.
Even more astonishingly, these formations appear to be linked to a subterranean system that stretches up to 2 kilometers beneath the plateau. Yes, 2 kilometers of massive, hidden structures. Further radar scans reveal an interconnected network of underground formations, extending not just beneath the pyramid of Khafre, but also under the pyramids of Khufu and Menkaure. This subsurface system descends roughly 2 kilometers below ground, something that simply shouldn't be possible. According to mainstream archaeological and historical theories, traditional Egyptology still maintains that these pyramids were simply royal tombs, built around 2500 BCE, using primitive technology like ramps and sleds, ropes, and just hard manual labor. However, many scholars and engineers have been arguing for years that this theory fails to explain the advanced mathematical precision found in their construction, where values such as pi and the golden ratio are encoded into the structures. Now, with this latest SAR data, evidence seems to be emerging that the pyramids perhaps served a more functional or mechanical purpose, rather than merely being tombs. I mean, there's barely any evidence that they were tombs anyway, but whatever. But this idea of a mechanical purpose has been proposed before. Nikola Tesla speculated that the pyramids were capable of harnessing Earth's natural frequencies, an idea that influenced his own wireless energy transmission experiments. In the Giza power plant, engineer Christopher Dunn theorized that the Great Pyramid functioned as a power generator, utilizing acoustic resonance.
It kind of does look like a power generator, doesn't it? I mean, like an ancient, like if you were going to use all of the videos that people have talked about Tesla and free energy and that Egypt's hiding, they knew this technology and stuff. I mean, this thing kind of looks, I don't want to say what it is, because they might go digging down there and be like, oh, you know, it was just a staircase down into like this room or whatever. But I don't think so, man. I think this is something big. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, wouldn't that be awesome if this was really it? If this was like the thing that got it all started? Just this thing right here. Everybody's talking about it right now. I think it would be cool. See, I don't want to get too excited, man, because I know I'm going to get let down, you know? But I don't know. Anyways. Let's look at Michael. This is a great presentation.
Convert mechanical stress into usable energy. There was even a physics paper published in 2018 that seemed to support this idea. It seems like these theories are starting to appear not quite so wacky after all. And there's even more information yet to come. Reports suggest that a 4-hour presentation will soon be released by the research team, detailing every aspect of their discoveries. This early disclosure that we've seen is perhaps a strategic move to build public interest. I'm not sure, but it's working. I can't think of anything else that's more exciting right now. This might just be the most compelling evidence yet for an alternative technological explanation behind the Giza complex. Even more intriguingly, it may provide the strongest proof so far of an advanced civilization that existed before recorded history, before the Great Cataclysm at the end of the Ice Age. Naturally, these findings are highly controversial, and they directly contradict the long-standing academic consensus. If further evidence supports these results, it will send unbelievable shockwaves through archaeology, history, and beyond. But from what's been presented so far, one thing is obvious. There is immense structural engineering hidden deep below the pyramids and the Giza plateau. So what do you think? Does this discovery and what it potentially represents change your perspective on the pyramids? Please do let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your opinions, and make sure you share this.
I think this guy did a really, like, he hit the points, the major points. Michael Button. Y'all sub to this guy. It's a good presentation, but he hit the major points about it. And I mean, does that look like a power generator to you or something? It does, doesn't it? It looks like, if that's not staircases, that's what I'm thinking. So what are the winding things that are around the columns? It's either one of three things, right? It's like a staircases, or it's something that could be, I guess it could just be like a design if it was going to be a sculpture, but that, I don't think it's that. Or it could be coils. It could be like some kind of ancient tech thing, man. Damn, I hate to even say. I can't wait till this like presentation thing comes out though that he's talking about that they're gonna do. Like, let's see what you guys think too. The phone lines are open too. I got to just pull them up so I can see the phone actually light up if you call in. But Alice on the Moon says it's Atlantean technology. Chris says, I had a crazy dream last year and woke up thinking about the pyramids being the capstone to giant buried obelisks. It felt so strange, and I even made a video talking about. Are you serious, man? Did they look like this? You might have had like a one of those collective conscious tap-ins to like, what else? Plasma energy portal, power plant. It does kind of look like a battery or a power plant or something, doesn't it? It is fun to think about. Yeah, see, that's kind of where I'm at too, Sir Wolf. Like the whole idea where when John Anthony West was talking about, man, these guys, see, we're hung up on this idea, and I think academia is too, because there's so many different theories about ancient Egypt, but there's real history, proven kings, pharaohs, and all that stuff. But what Jaws and what all these people are talking about is this. There's an older civilization that goes way back that we're not aware of, right? And long before Egypt, and that these pyramids were probably there. Some people think long before Egypt. I don't think dudes were pulling. I've never thought that dudes were pulling stones and, it was as primitive as academia wants us to think. Like, we're hung up on this idea, and that's what I was trying to say earlier, that in linear time, every human being in the past had to have been stupid. Not stupid, but like we've evolved intellectually. But that's kind of closed-minded if you think about it. And it's really can't be true from a perspective of, if you think about how old the earth is, there might have been 9, 10 different civilizations that have been wiped off the face of the earth, and every time they come back and say, well, this is this old, especially when it comes to Egypt, there's always something that comes out that proves it wrong, like every single time. And it was so bad, like in the early 2000s, that Robert Schoch, when he went out and saw the Sphinx and he saw the water erosion on the Sphinx, and he just said it out loud. He didn't make an official statement, but he just kind of popped off and said, man, these rocks are hundreds of thousands of years, or this is hundreds of thousands of years old. And he just said it as soon as he saw it, when John Anthony West finally got him out there. But then he made sure, he's like, no, I can't say that officially, because academia had its big nasty paw on it, right? Like, for some reason, these guys, once they get it down in the history books, then it has to be that way and it can never be challenged. And man, I think like we need this, I really hope that they get some kind of just investment, like all the philanthropists just come out of the woodwork, and, Egypt lets them just start digging in this stuff and try to, figure this out. Not knowing how delicate it is, but it looks like, those look like coils to me, man. So what do you think it is? Like, if you really think about it, you got two rooms, and that's not all too. It's all of like the 2 kilometer stuff that they have no idea what else is down there. And yes, if you read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the guy says there's a spaceship down there. Okay. But this is amazing, man. How long are we going to be alive when they figure out what this is? Because you know how long it took them to dig out like Göbekli Tepe? Did I say that right? I always say that wrong. Göbekli Tepe. Do you know how long it took them to dig all that out? Imagine them having to dig this out. And then if they get down there and there's 2 kilometers, we may never, dude, I want to know the truth of this before I leave this earth, What's up, Jenny? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know what else. I was going to talk about the JFK files, but I got to go through all those papers, and to me, it just looks like it was a CIA mob deal, you know. But this is more interesting to me. 8 wells, 648 meters deep, spiraling downward, possible water channels, ventilation, or for... Can you imagine, like, if all of that was for ritual purposes? That's more exciting to me than most people. But can you imagine, like, I really believe in the power of sacred geometry, and I really believe in the power of, like, the Axis Mundi, you know, where we can harness certain things like biogeometry and things like that. I really believe in all this stuff. And can you imagine if it was just for ritual purposes and that's it? But not in a sense like where we make a sacred space, but in a sense where they really understood, you know, alignments, biogeometry, frequency, things like that. And this is the thing that reveals it. Or, you know, it's possible that, I mean, it's possible that it's just dungeons or something or whatever. But I don't think so. I really don't think so. The 2 80-meter cubes at the bottom, it could be storage. It could be, again, ceremonial spaces. It could be something else. Like, and then there's the geometric pathways suggest that for sure the design was intentional. Like it could connect all 3 pyramids together. And then another subterranean like complex that is 2 kilometers in length, right? There's no freaking way. Like, modern academia has to be shitting themselves right now. If they're trying to hold on to the narratives that they're teaching about what these pyramids are, they have to be freaking out right now. I would be. I mean, seriously, I would be if I was on their team and I was like, hey, look, you know, I know you guys think all this stuff, but really ancient Egypt is just this, and it's just tombs, and these are the pharaohs, and that's all it is. And then this comes out, like, I would be like, oh, what are we going to say now? You know, like, what are we going to... It's okay. This is what I don't understand. Even if you have a PhD, even if you've done a lot of research... It's okay to say I was wrong. I don't know everything. I don't get it, man. You know. So how are these detected? That's the thing. So if this is real, we have to challenge this. But I'm not smart enough to challenge this. And this is where I think probably the modern academics are going to challenge the science, because that's the only shot they got is to challenge this radar and stop anybody from going down there. But it has some kind of Cosmos SkyMed satellite data, or Beyondi's, that's Beyondi's work, right? The SAR thing. And I think they used multiple, from my understanding, they used his work and someone else's technology to get all of these pictures, not just Beyondi's work, right? But it's millimeter scale resolution, though. That's kind of hard to, that's going to be kind of hard to challenge. If they can take pictures in radar millimeter scale stuff, that's going to be kind of hard to challenge. So what do you think? Just a quick poll here. Like, what do you think these structures were used for? If you had to give one guess, and I know some of you have already said what you think. Like, some of you think it's Atlantean technology, but what I mean is, what was their practical use? What do you think their practical use was for? Just based on those images. Think about it. You got these cylinders, and then you got 2 big cubed rooms underneath the pyramids. 680 meters, I think, deep before you get to the cubes. Right. What do you think it is? I think, I don't know. But if I had to guess, if someone like stuck a gun to my head, I would think, which I know it's not going to validate, and I'm probably wrong, but I would think like these are like secret ceremonial chambers. But the only thing that holds me back from that is the design structure of the cylinders. Like, why? Why would you build that? Why would you take the time to build it that way? Like, if I'm thinking just just practically. I'm not trying to take away from the mystical side of this, but Christy Belly says particle accelerator, energy generation, Alice on the moon. Could be, yeah. Drawing power, earth energy, yeah. But I'm thinking, what if it was like a mystery school? I got two ideas in my head, and they're super practical, but that's only because I'm too afraid to be wrong about something. Like, I'm afraid to be the guy that says, man, it's an ancient battery, and then they go digging down there, and they're like, oh, it's just a ceremony room. So I guess I have this fear of looking like an idiot, you know. But Grant says power, but probably not electricity, like harnessing the power of the earth line they are on to feed the crops. Yeah. So you got two rooms in there, and you got all of these, like this I think is a winding staircase. It could just be like a paranoid king or something. I doubt it, but an old paranoid pharaoh that's like, look, listen, we need to dig down, and we need to that don't even make sense. Because I was thinking, just make two great rooms down there that we can hide in under the pyramid, and 680 meters deep. That doesn't make sense. That don't make sense. I don't know, man. I'm excited. I want to know what this is. Hard to speak on practical in our terms because it truly seems like a technology of something higher than us. Yeah, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, though. Not yet. Whenever they come out with this presentation, they have to dig this out, man. I can't wait to hear what like Graham Hancock is going to say about this. The Magical Egypt folks, you know, Chance Gardner, those people. I wonder what Robert Schoch is going to say. I wonder if they're going to say anything. And I really want to see what modern academia is going to say. Like, what's their response to this? Because even if it is practical, even if it is like tombs, or it's not tombs though, but just some kind of ceremony room, which it's probably not, this whole thing negates everything they already, just right off the bat, negates a lot of what they've been teaching us. The only thing that could it could counter all that is that this radar thing isn't real. And I don't think that's the case. What if it's something like we can't imagine? You know, I always thought, because, you know, we like to come up with things. We like to make things out of something that we understand. You know, that's where like flying saucers and all this stuff came from, and spaceships with doors and steps and bipedal creatures. No one ever thought that there could be other forms of life that don't have arms and legs and doors, right? So what I'm saying is what if it's just something out of this world that isn't any of that we don't understand? They might have like unveiled one of the greatest mysteries of all. Like, once they dig it up and they're like, okay, well, we thought the pyramid was a mystery, but we have no idea what the hell this thing is. Anyways, I wish I would have spent more time digging into this, but really there's nothing else to know until they come out with more, I guess, that presentation, right? The big thing is, for the longest time, is that these pyramids are just royal tombs. That's all they are. When you pick up modern academia books on ancient Egypt and the pyramids, or you read about the archaeology of it and stuff, unless you're going on a tour with, you know, some of our friends or people that we know or people that look into the stuff that we do, that's what they're saying. They're just royal tombs. And there's no, like the guy said in the video, there's no definitive burial evidence in Khafre's pyramid. So these new structures suggest 100% alternative uses. Power generation, resonator. There's the resonator theory. Don't forget about that. We should talk about that too. Water management. What if the whole thing was a flooded? Because there's the theory that whole place was nothing but water. Like, it wasn't all sand. over 10,000 years ago or 100, I forget the number, but it was just water and not desert. Those columns would definitely make sense then, but I don't know about the cubed. I don't know if they're rooms. I know they're just cubes that they seen down there. Could be astronomical alignments. Man, it could be, like y'all are saying, some kind of technology that's aligned in biogeometrically that we don't understand. And it would be really cool. It really would be cool if they were ancient power grids. That would be the thing. That would be epic. If they uncovered this thing and they're like, you know what, there's just no denying it. These things are power grids. That would be badass. That's kind of what it looks like to me. It looks like a big old battery or something, right? All right, I'm going to grab a drink. I'm going to fill up my tea. Be right back. We'll talk more about this stuff too. And then you can also call in if you want, 501-777-5631. Thanks for being patient with me, guys. I appreciate it. I didn't get a lot of time to look into this stuff, but I've been thinking about it for sure.
One's blights, another's paradise of unpolished gems plucked from the dollar bins. Dust mites are crawling in. Don't put me in the box with them. I need oxygen so I can say my like an extended olive limb. When the public square turned into a coliseum, the plans to opt out the panopticon, buy a plot of land, reduce the Babel Tower to a pile of sand, and find a portal to the time before the fall of man. It all began, so I'm told, with the sound. Then along came a rogue out to steal the king's crown. Eyes on the summit, trying to become it. Fire in the stomach, pride before the plummet. All the true progress to offset his aims is now empty platitudes and cosmetic change. The priests traded in their black robes for white lab coats, sniffing out dissent from the shadows in the back roads. So it moves and meanders, and warps and distorts when viewed through news cameras. Some open, some doors slam shut. There's bullet holes in armpits. They said that he refused to put his hands up. The rules have changed, it's new terrain. The manufactured tools used to drain the blue running through your veins are billowing smoke like moving trains, and taking aim at every cubit of our souls in the losing game. The world stage is set, engaged in battle with the shadows that the state projects in the fixed game of chess. The loudest ones never practice what they profess, and point fingers when their own demons pose the greatest threat. Malaise in the final days as the fires rage, and melancholia comes in tidal waves. Walk around scrawling my name inside the maze, then crawl into an nautilus shell and hide away. The highest praise couldn't pull the fish from the pits of hell when the self-accusations morph into a prison cell. It'll take more than pennies and the wishing well to tip the scales and see the light behind a lifted veil. So it moves and meanders, and warps and distorts when viewed through news cameras. Some open, some doors slam shut. There's bullet holes in armpits. They said that he refused to put his hands up. The rules have changed, it's new terrain. The manufactured tools used to drain the blue running through your veins are billowing smoke like moving trains, and taking aim at every cubit of our souls in the losing game.
Have you ever wondered, what do the stars say for me? Or, will the next month or the next year be more favorable? How about, are our two signs compatible? Each month, at the new moon, you can ask these questions live with me, your astrologer psychic, Mary DeCina, along with host of Lighting the Void, Joe Root. Join us at the new moon for Cosmic Conditions. We look forward to working with your energy.
Every new moon at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fringe FM.
Do you want to know the truth? Are UFOs real? Are aliens visiting Earth? Are governments around the world hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO Seekers, official partner of the Fringe FM, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Join us as we investigate locations like Area 51 by subscribing on YouTube at youtube.com youtube.com/UFO Seekers.
Broadcasting from Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Broadcasting from Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Now, here is your host, Joe Root.
I wouldn't make it a habit calling me that, son.
Sorry, Kurt. I didn't mean to mess you up there, buddy. Kurt Green, what a beautiful Arizonian deep voice that guy has, right? Sudi showed up in the chat. She said, what did you say? It's a power generator. Sure looks like one. God, that would be badass. If they get underneath there and they're like, yeah, no, it's a power generator. I mean, there's no way around it, right? This isn't a flat Earth discussion. No offense to, well, some offense to the flat earthers, but I think this is something that we can get down in there and really look at what it is, you know. But the diabolical side of me is, I just can't wait for anybody from modern academia to come out and have they done this yet? Have they done a video on what they believe that this is? Are you going to still convince me that this is some deeper tomb of more ancient pharaohs or just a cemetery of some kind? Who the hell would spend the kind of resources to build something like that? Like, no pharaoh that I know of I wouldn't. If I was pharaoh, I'd just be like, make a cemetery, or that's what they thought. Let's just make a building. Why even make a pyramid anyways? And then just put people in it. Yeah, then we'll just call it tombs. That's what they are. These are educated people, folks. I think they're wrong, and it's okay to be wrong. It should feel good to come out and say, man, I'm wrong. And then go down there and find out that there's some kind of ancient tech down there. That would be awesome. Wouldn't you want to be wrong? Maybe not superposition, but boxes to move through. Well, what is superposition? That's why I was asking. Like, I don't know what that is. What you mean by that? Could be. What if it's like those? Let me see if I can pull up a picture of these boxes again. Or can I just use this guy's? I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, there it is. What is that? What is that? If you just looked at that and wasn't even thinking Egypt, right? And I put you in a room and I said, what are these? You weren't thinking Egypt. You didn't know they were buried. And you just looked at that and you're like, what is that? Well, it kind of looks like something that I would hook a battery up to. It kind of looks maybe something electrical. What are the boxes for? What's the 2 kilometers of stuff? Like, I don't know, But the knowledge of how to use it as a power generator wasn't available to succeeding generations, so they just fucked around with it, doing their own stuff, creating various chemicals and stuff. Yeah, can you imagine if the Egyptians showed up, like they just showed up in the desert? They didn't build the pyramids per se. Maybe there were structures there already. I don't know. And they just added on to it. Because they say they added on to the Sphinx, right? They added on to the face and all of that stuff. So it's the capacitor that Sudi's saying, the part of the capacitor that is the pyramid. Do you think that we're going to be able to actually know? Like, I'm with you, but are we going to be alive long enough for them to get down there and figure this out so I can be and you can be like a part of this whole big discovery? I really want this to be something cool. Like, just as bad as I want to believe that there are, I could care less about Bigfoot, honestly, but aliens and stuff. Like, I want this. I don't want it to be something that we just hold on to and talk about. I want them to go down there, get your spoons out, get your chisels, whatever you got to do. Go down there. If I was a freaking gazillionaire right now, I would be in somebody's face saying, "Who do I need to talk to get crews out there and get this done?" You don't think they're going to dig? They're just going to leave it? No way, man. They got to go down there. That would suck, wouldn't it? If they don't dig at it at all, like if they don't go down there. That would suck so bad. And maybe the people that take care of the pyramids and stuff, they don't want to risk it or whatever. But it's worth it. Wouldn't it be worth damaging one pyramid just to get down there and see what that is? So you guys, so Sudi's thinking that we're not, because they want to release 0 point energy on their terms. They don't want us to discover that we can do it for ourselves. I'm not saying, I'm usually the one that likes to call out BS, but I'm not like, it looks like ancient tech. This definitely looks like ancient technology to me. It's either that or it's staircases down to a couple of big rooms, and there's a whole different thing down there. And they made these can't you see dudes walking down the staircases with little torches and, just kind of winding down this dungeon-like rooms into this big area where the hidden mystery schools of Egypt were, and that's where the ceremonies are. We got to figure out if they're even going to get to go down there, though. Yeah, you really don't need to damage anything. That's right. But what I'm saying is even if that wasn't the case, wouldn't it be worth it to be like, okay, one of the pyramids might get messed up just to see what this is? I think it would be worth it. They're going to let you know about 0 point energy when they roll out the real AI. Okay. Let's see.
Complex spiral pathways, hinting at a purpose far beyond what conventional Egyptology has ever considered. Now, there's no clue yet what these could be, but maybe these spiraling shafts are ancient stairways. I'm speculating here, but could this connect to the long-rumoured Hall of Records? For centuries, stories have hinted at a hidden repository of lost knowledge beneath Giza. Robert Schoch thinks it's beneath the Sphinx, but is this it? Or is it something else? Is it something to do with power generation, as has been proposed before? Either way, the implications of this discovery completely dismantles the accepted historical timeline of ancient Egypt and of human civilization as a whole. The level of engineering required to create such deep and extensive subterranean structures simply does not align with what we've been taught about the civilization.
So there's actually what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a model. This is like a 3D model that they made. So there's 18. What is this? What are these numbers for? That's not the number of columns, is it? Oh, no, this is where, okay. So these numbers are where they actually, I think, where they shot the radar in to make the 3D model. The only other thing that I can think, which really doesn't make sense, but for some stupid reason, my blue collar mind is thinking about, how you build structures underwater. Like if you're going to build something that's on top of water, you have to have something to hold it up, right? That's what my caveman mind is thinking. But if that's the case, the spirals, the spiraling things would be unnecessary. What would that be for?
responsible for the pyramids. Now, the Great Pyramids were already an anomaly in the traditional Egyptian narrative. Anyone with anything even resembling an open mind could see the facts of 2.3 million limestone blocks per pyramid, weighing up to 80 tons each, transported hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, built so precisely it beggars belief, and all done with primitive tools and inside a tiny time frame. It simply doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's
but
stupid.
This makes it impossible to argue that the society we know from history built these structures. And it doesn't stop there. Even more astonishingly, these formations appear to be linked to a subterranean system that stretches up to 2 kilometers beneath the plateau. Yes,
Another whole other system of we don't know what the hell it is that stretches up to 2 kilometers. Please dig down there. Like, go down there, man. You know? Please. I'm ready. Go down there. What's up, Bryce? He says, bro, the Cheyenne Mountain Base in Colorado has a sub. Does it for real? I've asked AI. Of course, I'm going to ask AI. Tell me what you think about this, right? And then I'm asking you. This is awesome. This is truly awesome. This is awesome. I'm excited. You know, I was excited about the JFK files, of course, but when I went to that website, and there's just so much data to go through, I think, you know, that's for a whole other show. You know, and I didn't even know that this happened. Thank God we have the Discord channel, because by the time I get home, I'm rushing to make dinner, that I'm trying to talk to everybody I'm supposed to talk to, and then I got about 20, 30 minutes to do a live broadcast. So really, I found this just by going up into the Discord, and Juan Ayala sent me a text today about it. When he sent me a text today about it, it made me think, oh yeah, they were talking about that in the Discord. I'll check it out, because I thought it was just, you know, another maybe thing about Egypt, because there's always something that comes out like every 2-3 years or whatever about Egypt, right? That has, oh, we found this thing or this mummy or whatever, right? Like, but this, man, this is not one of those type of situations, man. Like, this could be a massive, massive things, man. You know, you want to ask a jailbroken AI? We could do that. We could do that. You still have that prompt in the Discord? I don't have the Discord up. I had that prompt that you put in there, but anyways, yeah, we could do that. We could do that later for sure. 501-777-5631 if you want to call and chime in too, and actually talk in the discussion. I know it's easier to chat and text though. These are not royal tombs though, man. We have to put that to bed though, right? Like, we have to put that to bed. See, Grok says here, look, traditional pyramids are royal tombs, yet no definitive burial evidence in Khafre's pyramid. New structure suggests exactly what you guys are saying. This is AI saying what you guys are saying. Well, power generation, resonator theory, right? How did they excavate 648-meter wells or build 80-meter cubes underground? Compare it to known Egyptian texts, ramps, levers, debates, dude, they're screwed, man. Academia is done with this, right? Like, I'm not happy about it. I'm like trying to stomp on the academia guys, but I just remember like how John Anthony West dedicated his whole life to this. Not his whole life, but a big majority of his life, when he discovered Schwaller's work. And something told him that when he was doing these trips to Egypt, like, man, it lines up with what Schwaller's saying. They understood something deeper. They were a more advanced race. That was his big thing, right? Like, his big thing is not advanced as far as like technologically is concerned, like we are, but a more, they understood a technology in a spiritual sense that we didn't. And I think that's totally the case, man. If I live to see this guy vindicated, or Robert Schoch vindicated, or any of these guys, not just some shot of this radar, even though this is amazing, but to actually go down there, pull this stuff out from the root, show the world and vindicate these guys. Magical Egypt, the original documentary that Chance did with him, all of this stuff. And you just saw like AI, what AI is saying about it. I said, I went in there, I said, give me an outline to help me talk about this because I don't know what the hell's going on, right? And AI is saying everything you guys are saying. Grok. It's not saying the practical thing. It's not saying what it usually does. It'd be like, some people are going to say that it's this or that, but it's actually saying it could be like an ancient power grid, What are y'all saying? Kind of like a hyperbolic chamber, desensitization, or electroacoustic chamber. I like to think, okay, so this is something I want to get into later, but a few years ago, who introduced me to this guy? He goes around. I was going to have him on the show. He said he would come on, but he's super busy. And he talks about biogeometry. Like this is what he talks about. Ancient structures and how we can create energy and certain frequencies just from the structures alone, right? And I forget his name. My recall sucks, man. I gotta work on that. Alpha brain, mushrooms, lion's mane, something, But I really think this is real. Like this whole biogeometry thing is real. This resonance theory, and he has presentations on it that he goes all around the world and talks about this. We're talking about his theory is we could build a literal society that's totally different architecturally. So he's an architect. I'll think of his name in a minute. When I don't need it, it'll come to my head. But he's an architect, and he talks about this, that not only can we get free energy, but based on the architecture of certain buildings, certain ways the cities are structured, and all of the stuff, just the way everything's structured, will set up frequencies where everything will grow better, life will be fuller, we'll live longer, everything will just work better. Like almost like the earth would be a big battery if we made all our cities this way. I can't think of his name, but I'm stoked about it though. I've got his PDF here somewhere. See, a hyperbolic chamber, a desensitization or electroacoustic chamber. Those big rooms do make me think that it's kind of some kind of electroacoustic chamber, like some kind of resonator. What about the other two pyramids? And hold on, chat's going kind of fast. What about the other two pyramids and others all over the world? Have they scanned? They definitely should, don't you think? I mean, Bryce just said the same structures under something else. I forget what he said. But the same kind of structures underneath other structures. They should be scanning all the pyramids now. The Cheyenne Mountain Base, is what he said, has a substructure just like that. Does anybody really still think there are tombs? Dragon Rose. That's the thing. I have kind of a morbid sense of humor sometimes. I'd like to sit back and watch these guys just after all this stuff comes out and just be like, okay, cool, can you explain to me what this is if those are tombs? And just sit back. Why? It could be a man thing. I don't think it's a man thing. I think there's women in academia too that are like this, but because I'm a dude, I think it's a man thing where we just don't want to say that we're wrong. Like, I was wrong. Okay, I was totally wrong. It's okay to say that, right? Like, okay, I was totally wrong. I thought they were tombs based on the information that we had at the time that I studied. I thought they were tombs. It was wrong of me to put it in the modern education and preach it as it is. That's all it is. They should restructure that whole education system when it comes to ancient history, I think. But they're going to probably try to stick to their story unless people can actually go under there and dig. They got to dig, man. Go get the track hose out. Let's do this. Let's see. Grounding maybe, but they look like springs which could double as a ground. Sudi says there's a reason pyramids are all over the earth. The springs are coils. Sudi's got her mind made up, man. She's not budging. Not coils. They're not wound tight enough to be that, Bryce says. Funny, since the Valley of the King seems to be where all the bodies are found. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, man. Just to be like, damn, dude, I was wrong. You know, for the long, you remember when chemtrails, that when people first started talking about chemtrails, I had like 10, 15 shows or whatever where I was laughing at people talking about chemtrails. I was like, you guys are crazy, man. There's no such thing as chemtrails. They're not, there's nobody spraying stuff in the sky. Like, I was literally making fun of people because I thought I was so right about it. But as soon as I seen that video, and I found the video of the CIA going, well, yeah, we do weather modification, and then really started looking into it, I came online and said, I'm wrong. I was wrong. It hurt. Like, it sucks, especially when you know you were making fun of people that were trying to tell you that they were real. But sometimes, man, you got to like eat a slice of humble pie, even if you do have a PhD. If a redneck can do it, you can do it. You know, eat a slice of humble pie and say, man, okay, maybe, at least say, maybe they're not tombs. Just, I'd give you a hug. I'm a hugger. I'd give every one of those guys in education that's preaching all the stuff, what John Anthony West called the quackademics, those guys, I'd give them a big old bear hug. And be like, see, that wasn't hard. It wasn't that hard. We're not going to get to the truth if we're constantly trying to force our truth down other people's throats, man. You know, like, what the hell is this thing? I closed the video, though. Here's one of the reports. And this is when I started. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you can see it. This is what I started reading, but it goes into the, like, when I got home, I was scarfing down a salad trying to read all this. And all this does is explain the technology of how the radar works, right? And it gets super, like, mathy. I don't have the head for it tonight at all, but the SAR synthesis, the electromagnetic image through a side-looking acquisition according to the observation geometry shown. So they're looking at, the way they got this is they looked at it from different angles with this radar, and then they put together this picture based on the images they got from all the angles, from my understanding of this. So here's what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen is modern academia is going to challenge, because I know the egos of these guys. It's kind of like one of those professional liars, you know. They can lie to you so well that it's scary that you think they're telling the truth. Not those people, but when they stick to a story, it's that same level, it seems like. I mean, you guys know, if you follow any podcasts and you've really looked into ancient, I guess you could say alternative history of the world, what Graham Hancock has went through, what John Anthony West went through, what anybody that challenged the narratives went through, the stress that you could see and hear in Robert Schoch's voice as he was trying to just convince people, man, that these rocks on the Sphinx are way, way older, and that's water erosion, not wind and sand erosion. It was really crazy to see how strong these guys stand on their ground of, like, bullshit. And you know, maybe they did use it as tombs too, right? Like, they could have just discovered it and put tombs on top of it. So you could both be right. The Anvil and the Crafters Guild podcast. What's up, man? I have to check out your podcast. Most old school archaeologists' egos won't allow them to admit they are wrong. Why? Yeah, they could be something as simple I mean, we have to, come on, guys. Like, it does look like a power generator, okay? But it could be staircases winding down to do 2 big ass rooms. It definitely could be. Hard to give up ideas you've spent the last 30 years believing. And I think, yeah, well, that, if you just know like a stubborn individual, like once they think they know something, that they just stand on it no matter what. Imagine that, and then you've got all of this money and all of these years and PhDs and education systems and special interest groups and all kinds of things behind the idea that you're right. So it's almost like they have to stand on their story, which is bullshit, you know. I think it's bullshit. That's why science moves so slow. The people have to pass away before something can progress. Yeah. That's kind of true, isn't it? It's like they gotta die. Well, we'll get the truth after they die, and then we'll figure it out, you know. It's really sad, actually. So let's see. What do we got on the Grok? What is Grok saying? There are reference posts on X. Some speculate pyramids as ancient power grids. Inconclusive, but thought-provoking. It's just, you know what it is? It's the scale and the complexity of it. Like, how did they excavate 648 meter wells or build 80 meter cubes underground? It's almost as, it's like, it's the same thing as, well, how did they make the pyramids? They're not making this stuff with, no. They're not making this stuff with ramps and levers and fulcrums. I don't know. But the big question really is, and I think Grok is right about this, is could this rewrite the entirety? And I think it should. Could this one thing that we're talking about right now, doesn't seem like that big of a deal because everybody's talking about it. But 100 years from now, what we're talking about right now, what's happening, could be a massive deal. Like, this could rewrite all of Egyptology. It could suggest a super broader purpose for a Giza. It could be ceremonial. It could be societal, or even pre-dynastic origins, right? Bondi's claim, Biondi's, this guy that's doing this work, I'm glad he's doing this, though. Because, what is he saying? It challenges long-held beliefs. What might this mean for future excavations? So apparently they're already planning to excavate this. We're going to find out, though. And everyone, you know, right? Everyone's going to be talking about alien influences. I told you, man, this place was seeded by aliens, man. I told you. That's why this kind of was kind of cool that we played Jordan Maxwell Monday night, because when I did that interview, I think it was 2017 when I interviewed him, and I said, hey, man, you know, the big theory right now is that this whole place was seeded by aliens, kind of like the Prometheus thing. And all of our religions and all of this stuff is based upon these ancient gods or aliens that came from other places, and they had technologies we didn't understand. It was way more advanced, you know. He was Jordan Maxwell. He was like, that's exactly what it is. Y'all remember that? He was convinced that's what it was. He said he even had an alien girlfriend, so. Sudi says, I'm not an expert, but I'm passionate. And man, I am too. I get that. I understand that. The Egyptian government won't allow for much of this to become public knowledge. I believe they already know what it is. You think so? Do you think they're like gatekeeping it? They need to scan under the Sphinx paw to get at the library that's supposed to be there. Didn't the Emerald Tablets of Thoth say that there's spaceships under there? Not using it. We cannot use the Emerald Tablets of Thoth as like ultimate truth, but didn't that downloaded material from the 1900s, folks? Let me see. Of Thoth, spaceship under the Sphinx. I think it did. Yeah, Graham Hancock even quoted like these emerald tablets. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, not to be confused. I love that he says this. That's why Graham Hancock is awesome. You know, there are other people marketing, I'm going to say it again, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth as the original Emerald Tablet, and it's not. So anyways, he goes, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, not to be confused with the Emerald Tablet of Hermes from the 9th century AD, were originally published in mimeograph form in the 1930s by a mysterious Dr. Dorial, and they contain information that might be regarded as prophetic relating to the Hall of Records. These writings quickly became an underground sensation among esotericists of the time. Tablets 1 through 13 are part of the original works, and tablets 14 and 15 are supplemental. No one has ever seen the original tablets, and in all likelihood, these writings could be considered channeled material today. And that's exactly what they are, folks. But it would be cool if there were like 12, 13, like emerald tablets that these actually came from. However, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean are still part of the modern Corpus Hermeticum, for they elaborate and deepen the meaning of the historical Emerald Tablet and writings of Thoth. So here's a quote from Tablet 5. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, interesting because of its mention of a spaceship beneath the Sphinx, the Great Pyramid, and a mysterious key of the seven, which I believe may relate to the royal cubit of 7 palms. It says, raised I to light the children of Kim. Deep beneath the rocks, I buried my spaceship. What if that freaking substructure... Here's the thing, man. I'm going to throw this out there. It's the wildest theory. It's probably not true. But what if that 2 kilometers thing that's under this whole thing, that they don't really know what it is. They just know, hey, there's some kind of weird substructure that's like 2 kilometers wide. It's big. It's massive under there. We don't know what it is. What if it's this thing? Or it says, deep beneath the rocks, I buried my spaceship, waiting the time when man might be free. Over the spaceship erected a marker in the form of a lion, yet unto the man. There's the Sphinx, right? There beneath the image rests my spaceship, forth to be brought when needs shall arise. Know ye, O man, that far in the future, invaders shall come from out of the deep. Then awake ye who have wisdom, bring forth my ship and conquer with ease. Deep beneath the image lies my secret, search and find the pyramid I built. Each to the other is the keystone, each the gateway that leads into life. Follow the key I leave behind me. Seek, and the doorway to life shall be thine. Seek thou in my pyramid, deep in the passage that ends in a wall. Wouldn't if those were staircases, wouldn't that be like a deep passage when you get into that room that ends in a wall? Use thou the key of the 7, and open to thee the pathway will fall. Now unto thee I have given my wisdom, now unto thee I have given my way. Follow the pathway, solve thou my secrets, unto thee I have shown the way. That sounds like channeled material, doesn't it? Do you remember when Chris came on and talked about how he had some weird message that it's like these nursery rhymes that you get? And his was like, follow this path and you'll find a crystal sword and all this other stuff. But it sent him to this place where it wasn't really exactly like the rhyme had said, but he did find some pretty strange stuff. I can't wait to go out there too. We got to go out there and visit that place. Sudi says, I think there's coded truth in the Emerald Tablets for sure, for sure. Okay, well, yeah, and I'm not debating that, okay? The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, I'm not debating that at all. I want people to be very clear about that. Because if we point at one text, and I'm not trying to get off the subject of the new discoveries here, but we have to think about this, though. If we point at one text and say, well, that Emerald Tablets of Thoth was channeled material, it's not legitimate. Throw it out. Well, then that means that every book that is, quote, channeled from the spirit or by any spirit would be considered, fugazi. And that means we have to throw out all the books, all religious material, because all of it was channeled in some sense or fashion, either by the spirit or whatever. And I know personally, like in my life, that the conversation that you have with the unconscious is the key to everything. It unlocks everything about who you are and your purpose. I believe that with my whole heart. And if it's using nursery rhymes, if it's using symbols, if it's using myths, archetypes, whatever, like that conversation that you keep going with that higher self is everything. And I think some of these people that wrote these texts just delivered these messages the best way they could when they were told by their own hearts to do so. I don't doubt that. What I have a problem with is when people use things like this to market themselves so they can go make a bunch of freaking money. Not that money's bad. I love money. I really do. But I think it's bad if you use it like to just build your entire empire off of, or say, or this is the same emerald tablet that Isaac Newton wrote. You know, Billy Carson did. I called Billy Carson on this, and he admitted, yeah, maybe you're right. I think he was on Gigi's show one time, and I said, look, man, the emerald tablet is what Isaac Newton rewrote. The one that was from the 9th century, yeah, there were several people that interpreted that tablet, but nobody put their fingers on the emerald tablets of Thoth except Doriel. Nobody. And he was like, well, yeah, you're probably right. And that was it. That was the end of that. And I just wanted to hear someone say, maybe I'm wrong. It was good. And I commend him for that, But also think, like, I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like this stuff, what we're finding today, I hope it reveals, I hope it validates people. Like I really do. I hope it validates Billy Carson. I hope it validates Graham Hancock. I hope it validates John Anthony West. Lots of people have been through stuff and have been really passionate about their work and never truly got vindicated. I remember watching a video when Billy Carson was telling his story about how he had an encounter, and whoever, I forget whose podcast it was on, but he started crying, man. He was like full of emotion, and it ruined his life. Like him telling his truth messed up one of his marriages or something. He was like really vulnerable about it. That's kind of when someone's telling the truth, when they're like in that super sensitive state. They got tears coming to their eyes. They lost their family. They lost all kinds of stuff following their heart or trying to come into their authenticity. And, if you stay the course, you get rewarded, I guess. But why hide these structures? That's the big question, though. Like, if this is a power structure, it seems like it's hidden, doesn't it? This new discovery seems like they hid these on purpose. They don't know. The people that go in those pyramids, there's no doorways to this, right? Or am I missing something here? Am I missing something here? There's no pathways to this thing. So it's either they're hidden. I mean, how do we verify this? They got to do more scans, obviously, but we got to get out there and dig, man. I'm a redneck, man. I'm a redneck. I'm thinking right now, I'll just take the tractor out there and the track hoe. We'll come in like Grant says. We'll come in from the side. We'll just start scooping dirt out until we get down there and just pull it out, I wonder what's next. I wonder what the next step is for these researchers. Yeah, you're right, Grok. I don't know. I don't know what's next either. Yeah, Billy. So Dragon Rose says Billy's told that alien story on many venues. He also never said he is certain of these mysteries. Always says it could be true, just like ancient aliens. Yeah, but what he did say is when he revealed his truth about his experience is that people that were close to him. And this is what happens when you have usually when you start authenticating spiritually, like you start becoming who you truly are or meant to be. A lot of times, if you have people that are close to you, will end up, you're going to have to get some whole new people. It sucks. Call the blind Frog Ranch folks. They have all the big toys for digging. That's all we need, man. We just need we need about 10 or 15 rednecks to go over to Egypt. And one really good redneck that's been doing massive projects for a long time and say, you see that thing down there? Here's what it looks like. Here's survey the scene. Come in from the side, like Grant says. Let's go in there and let's dig it out. Don't mess anything up. I got a tractor, man. I'm digging like this weekend. We're tilling a garden over at Terry's house. I was gonna take the tractor in there and just grade out all that dirt before I even put the tiller in there. But shovel's old school, man. You got to go straight for the track hoe. Get in there. I want them to uproot this thing, pull it out of the ground. Not pull it out, but go in there and then just take all the academics and say, y'all follow me. Come down to the hole. Let's look at this big old power generator. Let's look at this thing, okay? And then sit them down and just stare at them and be like, all right, so tell me again, like, how these were tombs. Make this into a graveyard somehow, please. Sudi says there is explainable, very real science behind how all this works. 0 point, the pyramids, plasma orbs. Yeah, Sudi's been digging into this stuff. You should, if you really got all this stuff, Sudi, and I know you do, I know your brain, you should make your own content. You have an awesome, Australian voice. I would make some content if I was you. Even if you're just doing, slides, talking about it. Because someone will stumble on, a lot of times people won't make content about stuff because other people have already done it. Well, this other person's already done it, so what's the point? Well, a lot of times there are people that won't find the content that what you're talking about without stumbling upon your stuff. For some reason, they find you first. Trust me. That's how it works. Balls deep, Joe. People do care. I care. We care. There's over 20 of us here. We care. There's tons of people talking about it on YouTube. There's plenty of money behind this, and there's about to be a whole bunch of money. I got a feeling, why don't they go to Elon Musk we always say Elon Musk, but there's more rich people than Elon Musk. But people like that, just, man, let's get some free energy going. Man, I hate to get out of here I have to get up early and go to work. I hate to even get out of here on Thursday nights because then I know it's I'm not going to get to talk to you guys again until next Tuesday. It's so sad. But if you guys find out any new info on this stuff, drop it in the Discord or whatever. And because I'm going to get overzealous. I'm going to get anxious about it. And I was all about doing a JFK show this week too. We might do that next week, but that one's kind of obvious. Go look at the files. Find the ones that specifically say confidential on them. I mean, it was the mob. It was the CIA and the mob. It was a big money power grab. And nothing esoteric about that. That's really what was going on. Yeah, he started a YouTube channel about it, the Area 51, yeah. Dragon Rose. Nobody would care, but just started a YouTube channel about it and has a lot of subs. Yeah, lots of people, man. You don't, you think, even the outer body stuff, or you may see 6 or 7, 10 videos on something that you're like, well, I was going to make some content about it, but they're already talking about it. And they got thousands of subscribers. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not telling you to do it, Sudi, because I know you don't want to, but anybody that's thinking about making content, I think now's the time to do it. It's past time. Make it. Because someone might search a phrase that you used that someone else didn't use, or they happen to like your thumbnail, or maybe they like your voice, or maybe they like the way you look or something. They just click on your content instead. And that's how a lot of this stuff ends up working. And then, you just do what I'm not doing and focus on making better content. I really would like to do that, but in order for me to focus on making really better content, I'd have to go back to doing this full time, which isn't going to work right now. And so it's either that or only do one show a week, and that's it. And I think I would just miss you guys too much. I'm kind of clingy. I get an emotional, what do you call it? There's a phrase for it. I'm trying to think of it. The guy said it in that movie Alien Code. I get some kind of emotional fulfillment from the interaction that I get with you guys every week. So if I narrowed it down to just like one show a week and focused on making a better show, it would probably be the best practical thing to do for me. But I'm way too clingy to do that. Yeah, do it, Sudi. You're like, you have the brains for it, man. You have the knack. You have the voice for it. Do it. Put it out there. We'll help you. We'll help you promote it. We'll all sub to your stuff. Do it. Yeah, and I've talked to you personally, dude. You've got there's mounds of content that Sudi could do, and I'm sure a lot of other of you too could do. But there's mounds of content that you could do. Just take everything that's going on in your mind and chop it up into segments and just put it out there. Put your light into the void. That's what we're here to do, baby. We're here to create. All right. I'm going to miss you guys. Especially those. If you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord. Sometimes we watch movies and stuff, and sometimes we just talk about stuff. Sometimes nobody does anything, but at least there's a connection there, and we're always there, right? I check the Discord a few times. I think a few times every day, something like that. So that's right. Create, man. You're a creator. What you're here to do. I love you guys, man. Thanks for your support. No, y'all.